So something happened like a week ago that I didn't really get a chance to talk about yet. Roll the clip real quick. You're a little nerd. Yeah, so that happened like right here. There's a lot of traffic that comes through here, especially when I'm trying to get home. I'm so tired of living in this city, by the way, because of that reason. But when I'm on my bikes, I just decided, you know, at this point, I'm just going to start lane filtering it because it's safer statistically, and like, so long as nobody cuts out and hits me on purpose, it's supposed to be statistically safer. And most times I do it, I don't have a problem. And you know what? I get to skip traffic. I'm one less vehicle sitting in traffic. Everyone's happy. But in that instance, I got on camera, and a myriad of other instances that have happened off camera, I've had people try to hit me off my bike. And so that's something I have to talk about today. And let's get it. This bike is crazy! This thing is ridiculous! Lean off the bike, sir. Yeah, we're leaning off it. That's pretty sweet, dude.
Hey, Hottie. I was like, I heard motorcycle. She's so pretty.
She is pretty, but she's so tempting.
No, it would make her look even better is
What?
if you had a seat back here.
A little seat right there?
Yeah, that would make her look even better.
You realize, like, first gear is like 100 miles an hour, right? Like, this is faster than the bike I took you for a ride in California on.
No, I don't realize that. Roll around and park closer down there.
Okay.
And yeah.
I'll find a spot. All right, let's get a move on. This is only something I've started to realize as I've become a better of a rider, after I spent some time on track, after I've like become more experienced as a motorcycle rider. I've come to appreciate what this bike is and what the capabilities that it has. Its capabilities are far exceeding what I am capable of doing as a motorcycle rider. The tires on this bike far exceed anything I would ever be able to do on the road. The engine, I barely even use the majority of the engine the majority of the time. The frame and the swing arm, the suspension, everything is extremely high quality and tight on this bike. I'm not trying to glaze the bike. Like, obviously, Ducati built a really good machine with this motorcycle, but it's almost to my own detriment. This is something I realized during my last video when I was recording all the bikes back to back. I got to ride all of my bikes back to back for the first time literally ever. And when I rode the H2 and then I rode this somewhat back to back, I realized why the H2 is kind of different from this bike. They make similar power, honestly. From the feeling that they give, like, this has just as much instant torque as the H2. Yeah, the H2 is probably 20 to 30 more horsepower, but it also weighs 100 pounds more. They have very similar feelings of speed. It's just that this bike is like set up way better to actually handle that speed. It's extremely flickable. It literally weighs as much as an old age 600 while having more power than a traditional 1000. So the difference is when I hop on the H2 and I'm riding the H2, I ride it like it's a bike that cannot, like kind of like the MT-07, where the engine outruns the chassis, and so you kind of have to ride it a little bit more reasonable because you'll exceed the limits of the chassis and the suspension before you exceed the limits of the engine. So you more or less just kind of ride it in a straight line and like chill around corners. This bike differs from that in that it can handle the corners, and so it tempts you into riding fast, if that makes sense. You ride faster. I ride physically faster on this bike because it feels slower. Going 60 miles an hour around a corner on this bike feels way slower than going 60 around a corner on the H2, for example. But that doesn't change the physics of, let's say there's something around the corner, or like you have to suddenly slow down. They brake the exact same. They have pretty much, I know the H2 has stylemas and this has the updated Hot Pures. They stop, basically, they have the same amount of stopping power. If anything, the H2 has slightly better stopping power because it weighs more. And so this is a bike I'm going to ride faster than the H2, even though the H2 is a slightly faster motorcycle, and yet they have the same stopping power. Are you starting to get a picture of why this bike feels so dangerous to me? Which can't be endearing, don't get me wrong, but I need to kind of get a little bit personal if I'm going to talk about that. I'm not trying to spark any drama here. There's no drama. There's no hard feelings, okay? No hard feelings involved whatsoever. It's so openly outside of my capability, and it's so hard to describe that. This little R7 cut up traffic behind me to catch up. I'm like, I didn't expect this at all, bro. Where did these guys come from? What's going on? You hooligans, go enjoy your days. That is, we're gonna talk about that, actually. I think it was fair to say I was a little depressed last year. Wasn't vibing too hard last year. Something I've been thinking about all winter is like, why? Like, how did I end up there, and how do I avoid going back to that spot? I got to a point last year that I was doing some pretty reckless activities, to say the least. I don't know if I could roll the clip, but just like a brief idea of, like, just so you guys understand, like, the extent of it. Stuff I didn't really post, but just like, clearly I was, going through some problems, not really caring about life as much, not appreciating the brief little blip in our lives that we have, but like, it's still significant. And we have a significant power to impact people in a positive way, if you actually have the right motivation and the right reason to actually do that. Dude, look how powerful that exhaust is. It's literally blowing away the sand pieces, or the pollen, whatever you want to call it. So as I've been thinking over the winter and trying to identify the reasons why I've been depressed, I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to come out and say it. I think I was just dating the wrong kinds of people. I've dated a handful of people in my life, and, varying from meaningful to non-meaningful. And some people that I've dated, it's like, when they have a meaningful impact on my life, for the better or for worse, it has a gigantic impact on my life. And in my life, I've only dated 3 people. Well, I guess the finger connection's not really letting me 3 people that I could honestly say have had a meaningful, lasting impact on the decision making and my life as a whole. First person I met in high school, we never actually dated. They just kind of rejected me, and that was a whole catalyst of why I didn't want to let myself become a loser in life and work really hard and work out and try to go to school and do everything all at once. That was a really meaningful impact of my life. It still affects me to this very day, even though that's someone I never even dated. I was just I took that rejection, and I'm just okay, I gotta become a better person. I gotta become better and just strive to grow and become better. The next person I met 2-3 years ago, and it had a very on and off relationship type thing where we never dated for more than a month at a time. That ended up being significantly impactful to me because it made me realize the type of person I want to look for in a person that I want to be with long term. It's a certain awareness, maybe it's a little bit of autism, I don't know what it is, but it's just a certain characteristic that I look for in a person that doesn't really necessarily have words. Emotional connection type of deal. Problem is, that was a very imperfect type of situationship, if you want to call it, because even though it was a very emotional thing, it was a very soulful, very heartfelt connection, that person was negative all of the time. And I look at myself of who I was before I met them to now, and what I know now, it's just, I was a much happier person before I had met them. I was a much more positive person before I had met them. Hurt people. And so lastly, that kind of brings me to Eve, the person I've been dating for about almost 6 months now. They are in every which way exactly that type of person I'm looking for. They have that characteristic. I don't know how to put my finger on it, but they're present, they're there, they yap with me all the fucking time. They're just there, and it's hard to describe that. And so I think what was happening last year, this is all before I met Eve, is I was dating people that didn't have that characteristic, that didn't have what I was looking for in a person. And when I was dating someone with that, or seeing somebody with that characteristic, it was extremely negative all the time, and it was influencing me in a bad way. So why I was so depressed last year was because I was just sad. I felt alone. I felt it felt like a choice between someone who was just dragging me down but had that connection, who had that characteristic that I was looking for. When I say characteristic, it makes it sound like it's a physical attribute. I want to say it's not. I don't know if you noticed, but at least out of the people I publicly dated, none of them look alike. Emotional maturity, possibly it was what it is, I don't know. But basically, I was running into an issue where it's I was dating people that didn't have that characteristic, and then the one person that I was at the time that did was dragging me down. And so it felt like a choice for the rest of my life, where it's just I was going to be stuck dating someone who was making me miserable, or I was stuck dating somebody who was just it was empty. It was an empty gray relationship with nothing. It's kind of realizing that you're going to be stuck working at McDonald's for the rest of your life. That's kind of what it felt like. It was just is this all there is to life? Like, that's life. I'm doomed to either have misery or nothing. Living life is like a great person, I would argue, is worse than just having like a negative experience. Because at least like there's something there. At least like there's some sort of emotion. It's not just all gray and nothing and depression. It's just, ugh. So that was a very overwhelming. That was an overwhelming thing to feel. Just like that's all there is to life. It's just like I'm never gonna meet the person. It's just endless, nothing relationships. So that's why I think I got so lazy about caring about life. I was starting to give up. I didn't care whether I lived or I died. I just was rather it just be over at a certain point. I don't want to talk about physically like making a choice to end anything. I'm just saying like I just stopped caring whether like whatever fate had in store for me. It's just like, oh, if something happens, it happens. Like who cares anyway? Which is like, that's a horrible way to live your life, by the way. It's extremely draining whether you realize it or not, whether you admit that to yourself or not. Living your day-to-day life like you don't care whether you live or die is extremely draining. And so I was straight up about to just give up on dating altogether because I just figured that it was just pointless. I went on like a lot of first dates before my crash, and it was just like all these people are just equally empty and just like they don't give me that feeling. And I was about to give up on dating, and that's when Eve DM'd me out of nowhere one night. 2 a.m. I was over at my friend's house when Eve DM'd me, and the reason that it struck out to me is I recognized Eve's username because I went to school with them and I may or may not have stalked them on the internet many years prior. I knew who Eve was. I went to class with them. I knew their name. I knew who they were. But they DM'd me first. And so they liked me, and I had been liking them for a long period of time. There were instances, because we go to school together, where like we would see each other at like a Halloween party a few years ago, like a frat party or something, and Eve tells me that I hit on them and I don't remember it. It's just like really bad. But basically it was just like, oh, I know who this person is. And so I was like, okay, like even though I was in this state of mind where I was just like, so this is like post crash, I was just done with life. I was so done. I didn't want to date anybody anymore. I was just like spiraling down this darker and darker pit of nothing. So that's when I decided to pick Eve up, and we went for a date on the beach. And from that moment on, from the moment that Eve opened the door and walked into my car, from the moment that we were walking on the beach, when my foot was broken and I couldn't even walk right, from the conversations that I had with Eve, I knew that they were special and that they had that characteristic. They had the thing I was looking for. But the thing is about Eve is that they're an extremely positive person. They have a way of seeing the world in a way that I've lost the capability of doing that. Like the glass half full type of person, while I've been living my life as a glass half empty type of person for the past 2 years. And so not only do they have that characteristic, but they're really positive about things, and they keep my spirits up, which I think have been pretty evident by, just watch my videos for the past 6 months, and it's been a slowly incline up. Partially due to the weather, like as the weather gets better, mood always increases, but it's been deeper than that. I feel like emotionally like stronger, like it's been like working out my biceps, you know what I mean? It's the same concept. You're working out your brain a little bit to train yourself into thinking more positively. And that's what I've been learning about spending time around Eve. And so as I've been transitioning myself into more positive thinking, as I've been transitioning myself from like this who cares, like what happens in life, who cares what happens, and I'm starting to care a little bit more. I'm starting to be like, oh my god, like there can actually be a future here. There's things I now have to plan for because of that. I guess that's just what this bike is starting to make me realize, is that like this bike existed in my life. My previous bike existed in my life during a time where I just didn't care as much. When I was just like, yeah, this bike's dangerous. It can handle those higher speeds, no problem. But I was just like, so what? It's cool. You know, we're gonna go fast. Perhaps it's just an outdated mentality now. I don't know. Perhaps I just need to control myself on this one a little bit more. Maybe this is what it's starting to make me realize. There's so much traffic today.
There's a lot of traffic today. I was like, sounds like a V4 to me.
Yeah, I watched her yesterday, so it's a really nice day out today. On the freeway, it gets a little chilly, but like, I'm surprised. A lot of people aren't coming out till later. I'm like, bro, it's like, this is the time.
This is the only time to come out.
Yeah, like later, it's gonna drop pretty quick. Well, he's saying there's a meet. I have to find a gas station. I gotta pee. I gotta do something about that. There's a cop over there. I don't know what's the speed limit here. I don't even know. If I rev, do you think he'll pull out?
What?
If I rev my bike enough, do you think he'll pull out? I like this spot. This is cool. Look at that. 2 really cool looking bikes. Beautiful, beautiful.
Pat was telling me that somebody apparently was like flying through here and saying some swear words or something. I got it on video. I was in the bathroom. I don't know if I got that on video, but if I did, that'd be really funny. That'd be kind of comical. But anyway, so the current plan is, I guess we're going to a car meet or something like that, which Ohio car meets, you know, are always the greatest thing on the planet. This is Pat's R1. This is his beauty. I think this is a 2024 model. So what happened last year is we were riding around this time of year last year, and he had a little incident.
He hit the brake on accident and he looped it forward.
Oh, are you serious? You want to get on the other side?
He unfortunately, well, fortunately, I would say, the bike survived, and all he had to do was just get some new fairings.
My point is my continuous search for happiness and stability in this world. Eve kind of just popped out of nowhere, and finding that person I can like relate to no matter what. Like, it's a little bit deeper than just like a friendship. It's like, yeah, I hang out with my friends, we shoot the shit, we talk. Like with Eve, it's just a tad bit deeper than that. And I feel like everybody in their life needs that. You get depressed without it. It's really hard to find somebody that matches you, which is why like online dating and like social media and like all this crap gets in the way of it. Eve is not somebody who I met through social media. That is someone I technically met through class and just contacted each other through social media. But it's possible to meet somebody that like matches your vibe and matches the things that you are. It checks all of those boxes. It's possible through social media. It's just going to be extremely difficult. You're probably just going to end up hurting yourself. And sometimes it's just got to come down to the right time too. Had Eve talked to me, or me and Eve talked, like, I don't know, like back when we first met in class, it's like, had we gotten together back then, it probably would not have worked out at least as well as it turned out now. What happened?
Dude took his grand old time.
Oh, so you got the piss though?
Yeah.
Okay.
That Riverwood Community Church.
Oh, that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So you said that was at 5. Look how many scratches this thing has now. Whatever. There are some people telling me, oh, you should have PPF'd your bike. You should have put paint protection film on your V4. And I'm just like, yeah, like maybe let me try to talk about this to make more sense. Like, yes, you could spend money and get PPF on your bike and keep it looking nicer for longer. My response to that originally was, I was like, oh, I don't care. I'm going to ride the bike. Like, it's going to get ridden. Who cares? It's going to get scratches. And people were saying, yeah, that's the point of PPF, is to keep it looking nicer even though you're riding it. Perhaps I need to go into more detail, so let me try to describe that. The problem with motorcycle social media is you have a lot of bikers who aren't true bikers. A lot of people who get into bikes, they use it for clout, and then they lose interest in the hobby and they don't actually end up riding their bikes. It happens a lot because they start making money off of motorcycle social media, and then all of a sudden they feel the pressure to continuously ride even though they aren't still into the hobby. So to me, and like I guess my own little brain is like the scars and the scratches and the paint chips that my bike earns, that's a badge of honor. That's a sign that the bike is ridden. It's not just like a perfect little social media bike. Oh god, there's a little bolt coming out. No, she's gonna lose the bolt. I don't have time to fix it, do I? Sorry, Ducati. Hopefully that bolt's still there when I'm done. No more top speed runs today, huh? I like scratches. I don't want my bike to look perfect and pristine everywhere I go. Lean off the bike, lean off of it. It's full talking at 35. How do I eliminate the risk out of this hobby? Like when I'm lane filtering through traffic, it's like, why do I have to worry about someone cutting into me and just like on purpose trying to hurt me or end my life? I don't know, man. I don't know how you can eliminate risk from this hobby, and it doesn't feel like it's possible. It's that transition from...
Nice.
What's up?
Very nice. I love it.
Oh, how many cylinders?
4.
Oh, it's got...
It's got 170 horsepower.
Okay. So she can boogie. Oh, this is cute. What do they got going on here? What's going on? It's going well. You don't happen to have an Allen key set, do you? Oh, well, I just felt it come out.
Oh, jeez.
Yep, I don't know if we're doing any more top speed runs today. It almost feels like the clip is broken. Yeah, I'm just going to take it out. Yeah, this is the cons of going fast in your bike. Man, it seems like it's relatively, and it's probably important to have that bolt in there, isn't it? You think this bolt is structural? If she comes apart, at least I'll have a Street Fighter then.
Can I get a picture real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, thank you.
Told me to head west. I'm like, let me just pull out my compass really quick. Don't stall. There's so many people watching. Oh my god, dude, there's so many people saying hi. I love going to the meets, man. There's always so many friendly faces. I appreciate people coming up and saying hi. It makes me very happy. I always joke with people. I'm like, whenever someone comes up, they're like, oh, I watch your videos. I'm like, hopefully only the good ones, the happy ones, the ones like today where it's just like you're kind of falling into the goodness, the happiness of the world a little bit, not the ruminating and the badness in the winter. This doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem right. Well, I'm at the right place. So we did find the right place. They're just all the way at the top. So we gotta make our way up there. I swear to God, if we come all the way up here, they're not here, I'm gonna lose my mind. Oh my God, okay, thank God. Woo, so close. That's just such an adventure up here. We pulled in here, we're like, we got the wrong place for sure.
Dad, we're like, what did he send us? Dude, I was literally telling him in the headset, dude, if there's a meet up here, I'm f***ing dead, bro. There's no way there's a...
There's some nice cars here. What's going on?
To meet you. I recognize you right away, bro.
Pleasure.
Yeah, bro. I recognize you from the skinny jeans you always wear.
Oh, yeah?
I always see them. That's why.
All right, these are armored. These are armored.
Hey, guess what food they have here?
They have food here?
Cilantro.
Do they actually? They just have free food here?
No, they have cilantro, bro. Dead ass.
Is it free?
They catered it. Cilantro.
Dude, we got catering at a private meet.
Are you looking at the girl running?
No, I was zoned out. It was way better down there earlier. Those hot white chicks that you thought was ugly.
He has a type. I keep telling him he looks like that one dude on Instagram. Doesn't he look like him, Looky? He looks like a little shrunk down. Dude, look at this. Mad tough. Mad tough.
I didn't know we were getting a photo shoot right here. I was just talking to you guys, looked over, and I have like 7 cameras on me. Look, another one.
What sounds better?
Dude, this is only an Asian school, I think. No, it's just money.
He said it's only an Asian school.
Engineers, doctors, and lawyers.
Yeah. It's IQ level, that's why. It's IQ level.
Out of our tax bracket, buddy.
One day.
One day I'll be Asian.
Yeah, one day I'll have 175 IQ.
I just hope I talk about some of this stuff. There's like people out there who can relate to me a little bit. Depression sucks, dude. It's really easy for yourself to like kind of cover it with just like buying things. Like I was just like buying motorcycles. Like I'm gonna buy this bike, this bike, this bike. Well, yeah, it was like accomplishing a dream that I had when I was in high school and college. I don't know. There's someone for everyone out there, guys. If there's anything to take away from this video, just know that nothing bad lasts forever. I had a down period, I would say, of like 2 years, and I feel like I'm slowly starting to claw my way out of it. Every time I feel like I hit a top, turns out I'm nowhere near it. You're worth a lot, and even if you're feeling down, you still have the capability to change the world for the better. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's little ride, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be safe. Bye-bye.